What is going on, guys? This video I am just gonna show you the Electro 35 GSN from Yashica, and we're gonna take an overview of this rangefinder camera from the late 60s. Now it's a rangefinder 35mm film camera, so you got your standard film spool in here. And it's actually, this one I got is in mint condition. The only thing deteriorated is the foam. Of course, the cameras from this age, pretty much all those you want to have new foams put in, so the light doesn't leak through on the gaps. But this one is surprisingly good condition. It features a very fast 45mm f1.7 lens. It's called color Yashica DX. From what I read, it's actually a very fast prime lens, and this one pristine condition. There's not even a scratch or any molding or dust in here. It's also got a leaf shutter from Yashica Electro. From what I understand, your flash sync speed is actually gonna be much faster compared to a cloth curtain shutter. Okay. But I've never tried flash on this one. I'm not planning on, just because usually I reserve flash photography on my digital cameras. This one, we're gonna shoot films for fun. Cool thing about this camera is its aperture priority auto exposure, and advantage is it's got a very wide, or very large aperture, f1.7, which is kind of rare for the camera of that days. And you got a couple of different exposure modes. You got a flash exposure, that's when you mount a flash. You got the auto, which is aperture priority, and you got a bulb mode. So with bulb mode, you just cock your shutter and you press it. The shutter is gonna stay on until you lose it, and until, I think I just actually turned on the bulb with continuous holding down the button. Okay, so all right guys, so this is a lock button. When you put it in lock, you cannot press the shutter, but however, the cool thing is if you press it and you lock it, that's where you use the bulb function for long exposures, which I find pretty cool actually. I just discovered that. And you lose it, it pops back up. So this would be great for bulb mode. So if I press it and lock it, it's gonna stay, the shutter is gonna stay open and expose the film. I'm gonna show you guys what the lens looks like. See? So it's gonna expose until you hit the stop by unlocking the shutter lock. How cool is that? Yeah, and aperture, very easy to adjust, and they give you kind of a indication for the sunny 16 rule maybe, and the cloudy days you want to use f4, and if you're indoors, you want to use f1.7. So this is your focus. Your focus is very close to the camera. It's kind of untraditional compared to the modern day cameras, but this is where your focus is. As you can see, it focuses from infinity all the way to closest range, which is 0.8 meters or 2.6 foot. Not too close, but good enough for most general work. On the top, you have your film winding knob, flash sync. This is a hot shoe, which is quite nice. You have your slow shutter speed warning light and overexposure warning light, as well as your ISO dial. The ISO goes all the way from 25 to 1000. You just simply turn the dial to the desired ISO speed, and it adjusts the exposure for you automatically, which is pretty nice. You have your film counter here, and it would advance once you take a picture. The advanced mechanism, very smooth. It's got a good kickback once it bounces back. So it's actually feels quite nice. The advanced lever feels Very, very nice. Feels premium, actually, to be honest. On the back, you have a battery check button. Once you press this, if you have fresh battery in here, the green light is going to light up right there. This camera's got 3 LEDs. This is the battery indicator LED, and you have those 2 LEDs in here. The cool thing is in the viewfinder, I'm not sure if I can show you guys. You'll also see a nice reflecting indicator LED light right there, indicating slow shutter speed. And sometimes if you are in the bright light, it's going to have a red one on the left indicating it's too bright. Turn down your, make aperture smaller. So very useful indications. So now it's of course telling you it's too slow because again, it's indoors. And if I adjust that aperture to larger, it doesn't give me that slow warning. It's just going to do a normal exposure. One quirk that I find out is when you are metering, you guys hear that little electric buzzing sound? Apparently it's normal for the camera, for this camera. So that's pretty much just the meter working its magic, drawing battery power, okay? But once you expose, expose the battery, the meter turns off automatically to save battery. It doesn't turn back on until you hit the advanced lever. And now if you meter, the meter is going to work again. So that's like a battery saving feature, which I think is really nice for a camera in the 60s to have this kind of cool feature. Another thing that I really want to mention is the rangefinder. The rangefinder is nice and bright, and it's parallax corrected, as well as a very easy to focus assist at the center. That yellow orange thing you see is a focus assist. So I'm not sure if I can show you guys with an example. Might be hard. Let's see. You pretty much how you focus is, if you guys can see, there's another image in that little orange thing. What you want to do is you align this image to that little chip over there, and then the camera is gonna be a correct exposing distance. Your image is gonna be in focus. And the further away that chip is from your actual chip, the further away your focus is off, okay? So very, very easy to use focusing system. I kind of wish the SLR would have this feature because the focusing is much, much faster on a rangefinder compared to a SLR camera with those prisms. Now, another cool thing that I mentioned, parallax correction. So that little box you see, it actually moves when you change focus. It moves left and right to compensate for the actual composed area. So that should give you a fairly good indication on how your framing is going to be and what your focusing distance is going to be. You do all those within the viewfinder. You don't have to take your eye off the viewfinder, because the only thing, again, you need to control are those two dials, which is the aperture and the focus. You can achieve all those and get a perfect exposure just looking in the camera and with that little assisting light. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys hear the shutter sound because it's really, really quiet. That's another nice thing about rangefinder. Their shutter is so quiet. So I already cocked. And that's a shutter sound. And this is a cocking sound. It's nice because it's got a half press, which it's just doing its metering. And now it's telling me over because I have a very large aperture. I'm pointing to a light, so it's overexposed. In that case, you definitely want to turn down just a little bit so the light is not overexposed. Now it's telling me it's slow, so maybe 5.6 is a good number. Yep. So again, it's a very foolproof guide and very easy to use. Always constantly check your battery level, because if your battery goes down, again, this is fully battery dependent. It's not gonna work besides the B mode. When it goes down, everything turns off and you can only use the B mode and use your manual shutter. Okay, but that's pretty much it. It's got a giant big button battery. You definitely need a adapter. I'll give you guys a link on where you can get a adapter to use normal batteries for this camera. Otherwise, it's not gonna work, because originally it uses a mercury battery, which is no longer being made in year 2022. This is the 3D printed battery adapter I got. And it's pretty much just a tube. I can stuck in 4 LR44 silver oxide batteries in here, and it gives a 6 volts battery voltage. And you just put this in here, and it's gonna meter nicely, and it's gonna expose nicely. You're not gonna have any issue or trouble with the correct battery adapter and correct batteries. And I'll also post a link on where you can get replacement batteries for this camera. Okay, so that's the last thing I want to show you. When you finish with the roll, with the whole roll, and you need to advance the film, usually you won't be able to advance like right away, because the film is kind of tensioned. You just have to press this little button to release the tension, and then you can advance all the way until the film goes back into the cartridge. You can take it out and send it anywhere you want film to be developed. It's got a standard tripod mount. Any of the modern day tripod is going to work just fine. And really no complaints about this camera. The only thing I want to say is make sure you get a really vintage camera. Make sure the light seal is in good condition. This one is on its way out. There's still some foams left over here, inside here, but you should definitely get replacement foams if you want to make this camera, the interior, light proof. Okay, otherwise you might have some light leak, you might not. You would not know until you develop your first roll of film. Okay, hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, please do hit the like button or subscribe. And I should have more similar vintage camera film review, shutter sound test videos coming out for you guys. So thanks again, and see you in the next one. Take care.